Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And today, we've got a couple things to talk about. Not a ton of stuff, but some clarifications of things that we were talking about yesterday. We've got firm dates on Meyer versus Wade. We've got firm dates on Vic's appeal. We've got some other stuff that's, oh my goodness. We've got some other stuff that's out there as well. We have the documentary, the Trayvon Martin hoax documentary, which was mentioned on this show a little while ago. Do you guys remember, I hope you remember this, the press release for the Trayvon hoax had them doing a screening of the documentary on the 5th of, of December. And then it was abruptly canceled right away. Like the press release went out, this thing was going to happen, and then it was canceled on, it was the 6th, I think. And then it was canceled like on the 5th, right before it happened. And then the screening was done a day or two later somewhere else, but it kind of put a damper on the thing. So now that guy is filing suit. He's being represented by the same guy who's representing Zimmerman, Larry Klayman, and he is filing suit for, I believe, tortious interference. So that's kind of an interesting sort of thing. We'll take a look at. I've got the paperwork. I'll get it pulled up here. And then the other thing we've got going is, so we know that Nicholas Sandmann has sued the different the different news networks, right? Sandmann sued the news networks. News networks getting sued. CNN settled with him. But there are other Covington kids that were impacted by all of this, and those Covington kids have sued like 8 or 9 individual defendants, including Elizabeth Warren, who in pure Elizabeth Warren fashion was pretending to be Native and sticking up for Nathan Phillips, probably in some sort of attempt to undo her cultural appropriation or whatever it is. She was making statements about these kids, and world religions expert and all-around cockbag Reza Aslan has also been sued for his punchable face tweet. And the lawsuit's a little more complex than just the punchable face tweet. Interestingly, this suit was filed back in something like August, but I believe that these people just got served, some of them, Reza Aslan being one of them, and Reza Aslan deleted the tweet. Yes, Zakin Tawate mentioned that Reza Aslan has deleted the tweet, and he did do that. So he's a little bit scared of what happened. Reza is no longer employed by CNN. If I remember right, there was some drama around his departure. But he is a little bit scared. They're seeking something like $150,000 from Reza Aslan. So that's out there. So we can go through these two lawsuits. The Reza Aslan one, well, it's combined with everybody else. That's about 27 pages, and the theater one for the Zimmerman thing's about 22 pages. We've got this Court of Appeals notice that came in yesterday is here. I was going to look up the Texas Rules of Appellate Procedure and find out what we've got. Mr. Ty Beard did mention yesterday that their briefing date is January 27th. That was on the stream. So it's going to talk a little bit and see if we can figure out when the defendant's briefs will be due. And I don't know, we can talk about these things, right? Things and stuff and things. There's never a shortage of things to talk about. We've got, the other thing we've got is we're really getting close to 267? Wait, what? 270,000 on the GoFundMe. Do I have that somewhere? I'm gonna have it somewhere in just a second. We're at $269,268 on the GoFundMe. Let me pull that up here on stream. So we can take a peek. There it is. 269, 268. And if you guys have some ideas on what would be a proper way to get this beast over 270, you let me know. You need someone called fat? I'll call him fat. You need someone called dumb? I'll call him dumb. I'm just kidding. I mean, I'll do that for free anyway. But I actually don't think I can. I don't think I'm allowed to insult people for donations. So let's not do that. That was a joke. But anyway, no, I'm kidding. It is there. 269, 268. We were talking about it yesterday. We're talking about Vic a little bit today. So I am going to just mention it here. We'll check on it throughout the show, of course. Because again, every dollar into this thing is one more sad boy tear from Kick Vic and those wonderful bastions of humanity. All right, let's see. We've got back to me for now. I'm going to pull up the. Where are you? There it is. I'm pulling up the lawsuit here. Come on. Oh boy. There it is. Here is the lawsuit for this guy. And let me get the other one. I know this is very exciting when I tell you what I'm doing in the background. So bear with me for a moment. We've got to get, I got to get Meyer versus Wade's document up here. Let's get that one next. Da, 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 da. And we still got to watch on T. Greg's lawsuit. Nothing new has happened there. The last thing was still on December 30th. So it's only been 8 days. It feels like much longer, but it's really only been the 8 days. Okay. The Meyer versus Wade. Where's that? Oh, where do I have this stupid folder? There it is. All right, we've got the scheduling order there. And that's good for now. Well, I guess I could pull up this big complaint here. Okay. All right, we've got all this stuff ready to go. How are you guys? How are you doing? You know, I feel like sometimes I don't express how much I care about you guys to the chat. So how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I wish you all the best. I think tomorrow we're going to do a whiskey review. Good, you weirdo. Thank you. That's the answer I was looking for. And tomorrow we're going to do a whiskey review. I've got a new whiskey that was sent to me. It's right here. This Cloud Splitter. Did I mention this on stream before? I might have. Yeah, I think so, because it's a 2-year aged whiskey, which, if you're keeping track at home, that is not a very aged whiskey. That would be an underaged whiskey. Oh, are you guys following? So much happens like outside of the legal area, and I get little bits of it, but it's always kind of like half related to stuff that's going on here in sort of my world. What's up with Nick Fuentes? Let's see. I mean, Null had a weird post. Maybe I could pull this up real quick. Oh God. Sorry. Let's see. What is it? Oh yeah, in other news, Sam Hyde has been mass shooted right off of Twitter. Apparently, Sam Hyde too funny for Twitter, like always. Oh wait, we've got another thing to talk about. Null has the spiciest stuff. He's got it all prepped. It's almost embarrassing. I don't have to even look it up because I could just go to Null's Twitter. Because all of these things are on his, which is not where I heard of all of them, but it's where they're convenient right now. So let's see. This is the funniest thing on of the day. I hope you guys can see this. Paul Krugman is a Paul Krugman tweet. Well, I'm on the phone with my computer security service, and as I understand it, someone compromised my IP address and is using it to download child pornography. I might just be a random target, but this could be an attempt to QAnon me. It's an ugly world out there. Sure, Paul Krugman. Oh, sure. That's definitely what happened. You know what most people do is they clone an IP address to download child porn for someone else. Yeah. Well, and Mr. Krugman, have you ever heard of Jeffrey Epstein? Do we need to talk about something here, Paul? Oh my goodness. Oh boy, I guess I shouldn't have let Kurt Eichenwald use my computer. Oh my God. Yeah, that's magical. All right. So let me see about this Nick Fuentes stuff. I don't know. Oh yeah, okay. His I guess he streamed about it, but his whatchamacallit, his Twitter thing was just a poll. But there's something weird with Nick Fuentes and like defending Lolicon or something. I don't know anything about it. I'm not making a judgment either way. I legitimately have no idea. So I was just wondering if you guys are following along with that. It would be really funny if like Fuentes was a closet lolly addict or something. And like, I don't think that's the case. That would be off brand, but it would be funny. So we can all hope or whatever. And yes, I did see the Threadnought Defender trophy. I did. I'm very proud of Lemoine for winning an award like that. It's great. He deserves all of it. He apparently defended the Threadnought. I'm not sure where he ever defended the Threadnought itself, but he did that well enough to get a trophy, which in not doing it should be a big damn indictment on everybody who didn't get a trophy. They are clearly not doing their jobs well. And also, I guess you guys deserve all sorts of laud and adoration for putting up such a brutal assault of the thread knot that its defender required a trophy. I mean, most people who argue on the internet don't ever get a trophy because the interactions and the opponents are so mundane. But you guys out there interacting with these blockchaining weirdos, so much so that I think Twitter has invented their like, Twitter's got a new thing coming out where you can, like, basically it's like Facebook, you can like broadcast to everybody or just your friends or whatever. Like, I can only imagine that that's because of the rise of the blockchain spike that happened when Law Twitter went off on their tirade. So there you go. You guys have made it happen, I think. I don't know. What are these people doing? Like, what are they? And yes, someone also did mention this. Here you go. I need a hero. Holding on for hero to the end of my life. Those aren't the words. Those aren't the words. That's not even, I mean, it's not the right amount of syllables. There's missing words all over the place. There's wrong words. he's just he's just a walking disappointment. Oh boy. Infernal Iris, you're not the only one who has no words. Apparently, neither does Jay Sean. But, is this memes? Oh my gosh. Arms Girls book grift? No, I haven't seen it. What is happening out there? What is going on? Are they spreading their collective $8 total around as many different funding projects as they can find? I mean, what is happening? Oh, this is, it looks like Broly. So I guess that's the thing there. So good job. I don't know. But oh my goodness. There's a real disturbing Jay Sean tweet. Let me pull this guy up too. I don't think you guys have seen this one. Okay. Let's see. What is that? I gotta find... I can't even describe this tweet. Lemoine is a weird dude. Ugh. Where is it? Hold on. This is probably not even going to be as funny as it is, but... Yeah, I meant the way I said it, though. It will not... Here we go. So here we go. Now, this is Boomer Hour, okay? You guys have to understand that this is what weirdos engage in, all right? Here we go. So here's a T. Greg tweet. And he's This person says, pick a movie, keep one actor, the rest are played by Muppets. So T. Greg says, Taken and Liam Neeson, which I guess. I would have picked Castaway, frankly. J. Sean Lemoine said, well, and Tom Hanks, right? Like, so just have Castaway, because this is a weird thing. But J. Sean Lemoine comes in with the real weird pick. Okay? He picks 50 Shades of Grey, which is, I guess that could be funny. But his follow-up is where the disturbing comes in. I'll take either of the lovers as the non-Muppet. So he'll either take Christian Grey as the non-Muppet, or he'll take the chick as the non-Muppet. Now, of the two, for an American man who is straight, there is one correct answer. Right? Like, there's one correct answer in this. And it is to say, I will not choose 50 Shades of Grey to answer this question. This is not good. Not healthy. Not healthy stuff going on here, Jay Sean. First of all, probably leave the internet. You're too old. Your lungs are too old. Whatever it is, you don't get it. The brain damage has prevented you from memeing appropriately. And second of all, that's weird. Get help. Get help. Oh boy. So that's, oh geez. Whew. That's what we have there. So that's just a little update on what's going on in like the non-law but adjacent to the stuff we cover sort of stuff that's out there right now. Really weird. It is really a shame seeing Sam Hyde thrown off of Twitter. Again, the guy's a comedian. He's a comedian. I don't even know. Does anybody know what Sam Hyde allegedly did? I saw someone tweet out to Christopher Hitchens that their cousin was like dying, but really enjoyed all of Hitchens' audiobooks. They put up a picture of Sam Hyde. That was funny. God, that was funny. Anyway. But yeah, the Jay Sean stuff is real weird. That's just not okay. All right, BTL Video Production says, Lemoine says it was an illness. What he doesn't want you to know was how he paid his way through law school. Let's just say 2 guys, the Black Bull and the Nile, and 1 lemon. He overcharged Shorty Mac like Moronica. Whoa. Okay. That was heavy. I gotta queue up one other thing here that we'll get to in a second. This Reddit post needs to be shown. All right. Then we've got Ryan Mercado says, every time you get fooled by a parody account, you must take a shot of Johnny Walker's whiskey Game of Thrones. Also, Nikki, where is everyone's GoFundMe kickback? I got DOJ officials to pay off. Sorry, your check must have been lost in the mail. Man, that's too bad. That is too bad. You got the Canadian Post. You're not, I mean, it's coming. You'll get it in like 16 weeks. Speaking of which, I'm calling you out, Dougie T. Where's my Earthworm Jim, buddy? I'm just kidding. I don't know if it was sent yet. But I saw Razor Fist did an unboxing of his Earthworm Jim, and now I want mine. So that's that. Lord Time Lord says, just donated another $100 to Vic's GoFundMe legal fund. That brings my total donations to $400 now. Wow, thank you. Thank you. You shouldn't have done that, but I appreciate that you did. Very, very awesome of you. Which we'll check that total in just a second. The Texan 83 says, Nick, are you really surprised? Look at how hard he was trying to get you close to him. He wants to be whipped by the one he calls daddy in his private moments. No. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is a Reddit post. Very, very sincere from our polyamory. My girlfriend's boyfriend is coming over for a threesome, so we prepared a snack table. So I don't know. I don't use Reddit. This was sent to me. So, you know, but I have to imagine that this is 100% true. It's definitely accurate. That photo, I mean, the filter that they used is a little weird on this one. I'm just going to say, whatever like Snapchat filter this was, it's strange. But I don't criticize people's filter usage. I mean, that's up to them. I'm not a professional photograph. Oh my goodness. There was one other thing that I wanted to... Okay, there we go. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up the GoFundMe one more time. So we can acknowledge that... Oh, we got a couple of donations, actually. More than just the one. So we've got, I guess 11 hours ago, the Vermont School of Law donated, which is nice of them. I really appreciate that. Zachary Karooks, $20. Thank you so much. Ruben Hartlov Hansen, thank you. Shocked Aqua, thank you very much. Matt Fields, Stacy Dieleman, and Mark Favreau, who is probably the person who just sent the super chat. Thank you all for your donations. Really, really, again, absolutely phenomenal. You guys are great. You guys are great. And yeah, I mean, if we do get to 267,000 tonight, I mean, I guess I could do something stupid. I don't know, like bounce for bits or whatever. All right. Let us go ahead and take a look at this. This is the Court of Appeal order that Ty mentioned yesterday. So the reporter's record has been filed under the date of Monday, January 6, 2020 in the above referenced case. The appellate's brief is due Monday, January 27th. Monday, January 27th. Let me see if there's anything else in here. Appellate's brief is due Monday, January 27th. See Texas Rule of Appellate Procedure 38.6. So we're going to pull that up and just see what else we've got here. So we're at 38.6. Is this going to be timelines here? Time to file briefs. Okay. So we can open that up. This is an interactive PDF. Look at how cool this is. So I'll go to 38.6 in the tip. Wow! There we go. Okay. So here we are. Get back over to my screens. Drink Fireball. I don't have Fireball. Do I make noises when I drink whiskey? Any hook update? Oh, I could check real quick. This is important too. Oh, we've got let's see. Order on motion for leave. So he's got a... We'll pull this up too. All right. So... What? Why not? Open it. Okay, I'll just do it this way then. Here's the order on motion for leave. This is for Christopher Hook. Sorry if we're a little schizophrenic today, but Chris Hook, by and through counsel, requested to leave to file a response to the imposition and amount of sanctions requested by Allstate Insurance Company by Tuesday, January 14th of 2020. For good cause shown, it is hereby ordered that Mr. Hook's request for leave to file a response by January 14th is granted. So we should see in the next 6 days a response by Hook as to his on the notion of paying like $60,000 or whatever worth of fees for this thing. So that is the update in Hook's case so far. I don't know that there was anything else. Transcript is filed. The transcript, we already had the transcript, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, there's notice of document discrepancies. What is this? Let's see. No, I don't know what that even is for. Nothing we've been paying attention to. So there was some other document filed in the case, but nothing we've been following. So not super crazy there. Where were we? Okay, I was checking to see if we had anything else pop up in either of these cases today. And by either of these, I mean either the appellate case or the district court case. Let's see. Come on. Well, while I wait for that to load, let's look at the time to file briefs, because this is important here. We've got the appellant's filing date, except in a habeas corpus or bail appeal, which is governed by Rule 31. An appellant must file a brief within 30 days, 20 days in an accelerated appeal, after the later of the date the clerk's record was filed or the date the reporter's record was filed. So we can take a look at this. We see that the reporter's record has been filed under the date of January 6th in the above referenced case. So we are on the accelerated schedule as suspected, because this is 20 days from the time that the reporter's record has been filed under the date of Monday, January 6th. So we've got that. After the date of the appellant, oh wait, yeah. So there's that. The appellee's filing date, which will be all of the defendants. The appellee's brief must be filed within 30 days, 20 days in an accelerated appeal after the date the appellant's brief was filed. So in theory, this probably is not going to happen. But in theory, if they filed their appeal, their appellate brief today, they would only have 20 days from today. They would not have 20 days from the date of the of the deadline, right? So they don't automatically get 40 days. They get 20 days from the date of the filing. If the appellant has not filed a brief as provided to this rule, an appellee may file a brief within 30 days, 20 days in accelerated appeal after the date the appellant's brief was due. And then there's a reply brief, if any, must be filed within 20 days after the date the appellee's brief was filed. So they get another 20 days to respond. So we're looking at 2 months total, which means that by March 7th-ish, we should have March 6th, March 7th, somewhere in there, we should have all of the briefing done in this case, unless there's a modification. So modification of filing time is on motion complying with Rule 10.5b. The appellate court may extend the time for filing a brief and may postpone submission of the case. A motion to extend the time to file a brief may be filed before or after the date the brief is due. Court may also, in the interest of justice, shorten the time for filing briefs and for submission of the case. So, in theory, either side could ask for an extension of their filings for various good cause. Someone's on vacation, something like that could possibly be good cause. But we'll have to see if anything comes of that. All right, as of right now, there is no. The only new filing we have is a vacation letter for Sam Johnson, which was filed today. I think the interesting part of that vacation letter is that he lists vacation days out all the way into November. So there's that. As far as the appellate court doesn't seem to have anything else up on there on Research Texas yet. Which is weird because I thought I got this from there. I got this order from there, but maybe not. Anyway, who knows? I don't even remember where I got this order. Where did I get this? Maybe someone sent it to me. I legitimately don't remember. But anyway, so we should see 20 days from probably January 27th. If I had to guess, they will be on a, they're already on a tight briefing schedule, but they will probably utilize most of their time to round out the brief, because you revise and revise and revise until the brief is not done, because the brief is never done. But you revise it until it can't be revised more. By the time it's just more worth it to send it in. So typically, this is why you commonly see filings taking close to the maximum amount of time. You never know what information you're going to come across, what revelation is going to pop in your head. So people do tend to wait until the last day. Whether or not they will, I don't know. But they will then be 20 days after that to get the briefs of the defendants. So all of them will likely submit briefs. I can't imagine they would let the appeal go uncontested. But yeah, there you go. There's that. I know you can view it on the Court of Appeals website, but I thought you can also view it on Research Texas, and I thought that's where I got the document, but must not be. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. So that's the VIX stuff right now. We've got this January 27th, and again, 20 days after it's filed. So if they file it on the 20th, it would be 20 days after that. So somewhere around February 9th that we would see the deadline. But if they do wait until the 27th, then it will go, to about the 16th of February for when we will see the next filings come in. So just kind of keeps you abreast of what is going on for the Vic case and what timelines we're looking at there. So that said, will there be any Hook? There's nothing to talk about in Hook's case right now. As soon as there's more, I will gladly talk about it. That said, we've got A. Hutsonas that says, as someone who's been busy with work for like a month, where are we with the Vic case? Also, what is the GoFundMe amount? Have a swig of good scotch if you have it. I'll take a drink with you. Well, where we're at with the Vic case is this is what we're talking about right now. We're waiting on the appellate briefs to be filed. And then after the appellant's brief is filed, 20 days later, the appellees, who are the defendants in this case, will file their briefs. Then the appellant will get to file a reply brief. And then all of that goes before the appeals court, the 3-judge panel in the appeals court. And at that point, they will either request an oral hearing or they will go just on what they've submitted in paper documents. That's up to the parties. Parties have the right to request an oral hearing. I imagine there will be an oral hearing on this. That's my guess. Why does it feel like a hair stuck somewhere? Whew. Anyway, so that's where we are. Where we're at with the GoFundMe, as shown before, is $269,620. We've got donations from Horace Lupercal, very, very interesting and timely name, Anonymous, and Robert Donaldson. So thank you guys for your donations as well. But that's where we are in Vic's case. Yoko Kurama 62 says, what will you do if we get the GoFundMe to 300,000 by February 19th? I mean, on the stream. I have no idea. What would be good? What would be good to do? Oh wait, no, that's the next one. So here's the we're now moving into Meyer versus Wade. We've got the scheduling order here. This was filed just yesterday. Where's the join button? I know I said I'd get the join button done today. I'll tell you what happened. I love excuses. But I have one. Lady Rackets is not feeling well. And so I was driving all over the state today. Sorry. I had my live chat for my Patreon and New Project 2 subscribers. We had that live chat Wednesday happened, but other than that, I was in a car for the vast majority of the day. So I wasn't at my computer. I apologize. But I am hoping to still get it done tonight or whatever. I gotta just look at it. But that's where it is. Next, here's a scheduling order. So this is Meyer versus Wade. So this was, there was, as we know, oh my gosh, I can't stop yawning. Probably because I was driving all over the flipping state. There was a scheduling conference that happened, and this is the order that resulted from it. All of the important dates are in bold here, so let's take a look. This will give us an idea of what kind of timeline we have for Meyer versus Wade, and it is wildly depressing. Let me just warn you ahead of time. Trigger warning. This will depress you almost as much as Lemoine's Twitter. No, nothing serious with Lady Rackets. She just wasn't feeling well, and we had originally planned to split up some of the driving and go do these tasks like at the same time, but then only one of us would have to, like, it would take half as much time if we both went at the same time type thing. But I ended up having to do kind of all of it, which is what you do, right? You got stuff to get done. So it is ordered that the parties shall file all amended or supplemental pleadings and shall join additional parties on or before March 6th of 2020. So March 6th, that's when they amend their pleadings or supplement their pleadings. That is their cutoff date for this case fully commencing. Mind you, they have not ruled on jurisdiction still. So this is a scheduling order, but we're not even sure if the court has jurisdiction yet. Now, I think they have jurisdiction. I think everybody involved is going under the assumption that the court has jurisdiction. I think the court is operating under the assumption that it has jurisdiction as well. But March 6th is the filing of any amended or supplemental pleadings or joining additional parties. So if they find out that someone else was involved in this, they'd have to join them by March 6th. I don't think that's likely. All parties asserting claims for relief shall file and serve on all other parties their designation of potential witnesses, testifying experts, and proposed exhibits, and shall serve on all other parties but not file the materials required by Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 26A2B on or before May 15th, 2020. These are the initial disclosures, required discovery disclosures. You know, this is the stuff that everybody would ask for. So therefore, the court just requires everybody to do it. You got to tell them who you're going to call as a witness. You got to tell them who you're going to call as an expert so they can start qualifying the expert and all of that stuff. You got to put up your proposed exhibits. Now, this does not mean that these are the only exhibits you're allowed to raise. Oh my gosh. If you find other things, other evidence after this May 15th date, you can bring it in. But you have to kind of demonstrate that you came across it later. You have to ask for leave of the court to file those exhibits. And shall serve on all other parties but not file materials, blah, 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 blah. Parties resisting claims for relief, so this is Wade, shall file and serve on all other parties their designations of potential witnesses, experts, and proposed exhibits, blah, 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 by June 15th, 2020. So they get 30 days because they get to respond to what Meier puts forward. All designations of rebuttal experts shall be filed and served on all other parties not later than 14 days of receipt of the report of the opposing expert. So you get an expert's report on something, then you got 14 days to get your own, to go completely not pay off your own expert to say the opposite. That's how that works. Take a shot for every yawn. I'll be dead immediately. Oh my. Is there someone with a voodoo doll and like just a hair touching my neck? It's driving me nuts. Oh my God. Is it like stuck to my shirt? Did Lady Rackets leave a hair on me somewhere? She has long hair. It gets everywhere. Anyway. So the parties asserting claims for relief shall submit a written offer of settlement. This is interesting. Shall submit a written offer of settlement to the opposing parties on or before January 10th, 2020. And each opposing party shall respond in writing on or before January 24th, 2020. Now, we will probably not see these. It does not say submit and file, but both, or Meyer has to give a settlement offer to Wade. He's required by the court to do that. And he's required to do that in the next 2 days. So Meyer and his team will have to be figuring out what is our, what gets us to walk away from this lawsuit. What do you guys think about that, by the way? What if Meyer were to settle this thing out? I'm kind of curious what people's opinion of it is. I mean, to me, a settlement is victory, right? Especially in this ideological landscape that we're in with the cancel culture, right? Settlement from Mark Wade is to say, I did the wrong thing. It just is. So, David Smith, Hook settlement talk wasn't privileged. Hook settlement talk was privileged until it became evidence. Then it was not president. Or not president? Not president. Wasn't president. Was not privileged at that point. Meyer gets to choke Wade out on camera. I just want to point out, like, the likely outcome of any settlement is going to be largely confidential if there is a settlement. I mean, that's the way that lawsuits tend to be. But I would hope that there would be some sort of public apology or whatever. I don't know what they're proposing. They have to figure out what to propose in the next 2 days. And I assume they've been talking about this for a while. But they'll have to figure out what will we take. And maybe the settlement offer is, $5 million and I get to marry Heidi Klum or something. Well, I don't know why you'd want to marry her now, but Adriana Lima or whatever. Like, so it's something completely ridiculous that isn't going to happen. And that's, well, okay, you're going to fight it. But maybe they come up with a real settlement offer too. I don't know. Well, they have to deliver magazines by bicycle. It used to be victory, but true victory is having a precedent set by the other side not giving in. I don't know if that's true. Like, Sandman won against CNN, right? Like, CNN settling with Sandman is a victory. A big one. It's a big victory, in my opinion. And you don't get precedent set until you go to an appeals court and get something put down in writing. Then you get precedent set. But just at the district court level, you're not getting it. So I don't know. But watch as we see this timeline tick along. So anyway, the opposing parties shall respond by January 24th. Parties are further ordered to retain the written offers of settlement and responses, as the court will use these in assessing attorneys' fees and court costs at the conclusion of the trial. So there you go. This is, of course, a way that the court will say, how reasonable were you being in all of this? A report on alternative dispute resolution in compliance with local rule CV88 shall be filed on or before February 14th. So they will likely have to choose some sort of alternative dispute resolution. They will have to choose mediation, just settlement negotiations, or arbitration. They can agree to any of those things and then file a report on that dispute resolution, what that plan would be to the court by February 14th. The next one, Any objection to the reliability of an expert's proposed testimony under Rule of Evidence 702 shall be made by motion, specifically stating the basis for the objection and identifying the objectionable testimony not later than 14 days of receipt of the written report. Failure to strictly comply with this paragraph will be deemed a waiver of any objection that could have been made pursuant to Rule of Evidence 702. So they have to object within 14 days of that. Parties shall complete discovery on or before August 28th of 2020. August 28th is the end of discovery. Then all they can continue beyond the deadline by agreement. No intervention by the court except in extraordinary circumstances, and no trial setting will be vacated because of information obtained in post-deadline discovery. All dispositive motions shall be filed and served on all other parties on or before September 28th, 2020. These should be limited to 20 pages. So these are motions to dismiss, motions that would resolve the case, dispositive. Responses 14 days after that, and then reply to the response 14 days after that. And then here we go. Here's the end. The party shall not complete. Following paragraph 8, it will be completed by the court at the initial pretrial conference to be scheduled by the court. This case is set for final pretrial conference in chambers on the 26th day of March, 2021 at 11 a.m. and for jury trial in the month of April, 2021. Final pretrial conference shall be attended by at least one of the attorneys who will conduct the trial for each of the parties. So, 2021, we are over a year away from the trial at this point. Again, anybody who has complained about the speed at which Vic's case has moved, you have to understand that it has moved at a meteoric pace compared to normal litigation. It's just, this is Fed court. It's slow. It takes forever. Their dockets are full. The windows of time for all of this stuff are long. That said, how do you feel about settlement now? Because it's a different question when the trial is 5 months away than when the trial is 14 months away. 13 months away. That's no, more than 13. Yeah, we've got, because it's 15 months. 15 months from now. So, can you post your boys GoFundMe? I can post your boys GoFundMe. 1 second. Here is your boys GoFundMe. Richard C. Meyer. Here we go. This is $137,000, $137.80 of the GoFundMe. There we go. This was organized by Ethan Van Siver. Skyver. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Man, I'm sorry, Ethan. Poor Uncle E. But here you go. This is, of course, the GoFundMe that gave me the idea to do the GoFundMe for Vic when people were asking how they could help. This was, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this done. So there you go. $137,080 for that. He's in for the long haul unless they settle. This is there's always motions to dismiss and stuff. It could go shorter. They could technically try for a motion for summary judgment based on what comes out in discovery. I don't think they're going to have a motion for summary judgment be successful on a defamation claim because there's lots of issues in controversy, like how much damage is done and all of that stuff. Was this the proximate cause of any damages? Was there a prior statement that would have caused the damage? All of that throws a monkey wrench in summary judgment motions, which is where everybody agrees on all the facts and the court just has to come in and determine the legal resolution. Well, in this case, one of the facts is the amount of damages, if damage even occurred. They still have to rule on the public figure doctrine and all of that stuff for the defamation. Tortious interference, we don't have a paper contract, so having Wade is likely not going to agree that a contract existed, so that would be a fact in dispute. There's a lot of problems with this going on a motion for summary judgment. Now, it's not saying those problems won't be resolved, but it is to say that those problems definitely exist at this point. So it looks like this case will go the distance unless they do settlement or just have alternative dispute resolution. But that's why I was asking, like, what's your guys' opinion on settlement? I don't know how I feel about it. I think settlement's a victory for sure. I really do. Yeah, it's great to drag these guys through court, but it's so much money and so much time. Well, victory has to be done publicly, not this backdoor, you are a very naughty boy NDA. Well, you know, sometimes part of the settlement is public and the other part is private. You know, that'd be up to them and their negotiations. Maybe it'd all be public. Maybe Mark Wade could settle for some term that he thinks would be a victory. Who knows? Who knows? So it'll be interesting to watch for sure. But your boy Zach, if we are still watching your case through April 2021, we'll watch it through April 2021. We will follow the case as it goes. I mean, that's still going to happen. Man, that sucks. That is such a long window for them. But that's that. So there we go. There's Meier versus Wade update for you. Big questions. What settlement offer are they going to put forward? Would Mark Wade accept any settlement? I mean, Mark Wade may not want to accept anything, right? He may know no matter what the settlement is, it'd be an ideological defeat. And that's the problem with these people. This is a problem in Vic's case too. They're zealots. They're zealots. Mark Wade is a zealot and can be a martyr for the cause of justice. Justice against the white man that is Richard C. Meier, right? Justice against Meier might be worth however much stress and pain Mark Wade can endure if he is the martyr. Funimation. Funimation should have settled Vic's case outright. No, this should not have even been trouble. Like in a normal case, no problem. But Funimation had an ideological statement to make. Definitely not for the contractors that they don't care about. No. Not about them. They don't care about any of that. There's no conspiracy or anything, and there's no agency going on where they let two dumbos go out and bleat through their trunks on behalf of Funimation, where Funimation just doesn't have to endorse or deny any of it. But there you go. They should have settled it that way, but who runs Funimation? They're zealots. The same people run Funimation. So there's that. So I guess that's it. Do you guys have any questions about Meier versus Wade or Vic before we move into these two other lawsuits that we've got? A. Hutsona says, what's your general politics? I assume you're a libertarian. Yeah, I mean, I guess. But as I've tried to explain, libertarianism isn't a political ideology for me as much as it is an approach to solving political problems or political questions. Resolving political questions, I guess, is a better thing. Like, I don't vote for the Libertarian Party because most of the guys put forward by the Libertarian Party are weirdos, right? And a libertarian political platform is going to be pretty different from person to person. My thought is you hold on to the ideal of libertarianism, which is minimum incursion, maximum freedom. So that's it. Whatever that ends up being is issue specific. So typically I vote mostly Republican. I haven't seen a Democrat I would vote for. There might be one somewhere, but I haven't seen them. So that's where it is. You've got your the ultramarine style. You've got your theoretical and your practical, right? But the Republicans in my area are really trying to lose my support by not taking legalizing marijuana seriously. I don't know. Like, again, I'm not going to be voting for a Democrat or anything like that because of various positions they hold that I just can't countenance. But not taking legalization of marijuana seriously, not taking gun rights seriously, being willing to accept reasonable restrictions. Get out of here. Get out of here with your reasonable restrictions. Lots of Republicans are in favor of red flag laws and such. No thanks. Jesse Ventura ran. I was 17. I turned 18 a month after that election. Yes, a settlement could include Wade paying printing and distribution costs for Meyer versus Wade. Settlements can include almost anything. Settlements typically cannot include agreements for sexual favors. A marriage, a forced marriage or anything like that. Anything illegal. Like you can't force Wade to be a drug mule, for example. Well, that'd be funny. You can't do any of that stuff. No sexual contracts, no marriage contracts, no illegal contracts. Ico Chan, am I pro weed or con weed? I am pro legalization of weed. I don't use it. I don't want it. I don't care, but I do want to see it legalized. I think it's time. I think the prohibition of it has not solved any sort of problem. It's actually created all sorts of problems, and I just think we need to have it happen. So, well, I'm slightly incorrect on settlements. Settlements can contain whatever you want. The court will not enforce those things. Let's put that down. And make sure we're clear on that. The court will not enforce a sexual contract. You can settle for all of the sex you want, but the court, you can't go running to the court when Wade doesn't put out. So there you go. That's my general thing. But who's a Popat orbiter who wants my attention? Who's that? Lodonost, who are you talking about? I'm curious. What am I drinking right now? Well, I've got Milo's, and I had this Johnny Walker whiskey that it's close to gone. I'm trying to get rid of it. Tulsi Gabbard is anti-gun. Well, of course she is. Anyway. Hey, what's up, Tug? Thumbnail's a masterpiece? I haven't even seen it. What is it? Is it still the one where my thumbnail guy said he was going to maybe work on it later? That was great. Can you try Butter's voice?
Yeah, I can do Butter's voice. It's hard, but I love to see you try. All good if you can't.
Is that good enough? Is that Butter's voice for you? I haven't watched South Park in a long time, so I don't know if the tone was 100% correct, but I tried. Oh wait, no, that was like Butter's mixed with Cartman. I'll have to check it. Like I said, I haven't watched South Park in years, so I don't know. If Butters drank whiskey. Oh goodness. Okay, so that's Meyer versus Wade and Vic in a nutshell, right? This is where we are. Waiting period. Again, Vic has a little bit different stuff that's going to be happening here. What? There's a third one now? Okay. All right, we've got... Was this just added? Okay. Here we go. We've got cross-appellate stuff. This is hold on, I gotta make sure there's nothing too crazy on this. They've opened a new file on Research Texas for the cross-appellate filing. I don't know why it wasn't finding this before, but it's got a separate file. So good job there. Let's see. Hold on, let me I'll pull this up real quick. We'll take a look at it. While I check something. Trap! Texas rules of appellate procedure are a trap. Oh, dang it. Whoa. There we go. Sorry for the weird thing. So here's the docketing statement. 1 second. Who's EBS? Lodenost, man, look at these weirdos you're arguing with, buddy. Like, just, I mean, aside from what they're saying, just look at them. Oh my God. Oof. Okay. You enjoy that, fam. That's all your fun and games, man. Not EVS, EBS. Not Ethan Van Sciver, a different person. Oh God. Whew. Okay, so here's the docketing statement that we have, and this is what the appeals are for Monica, right? They're appealing this stuff, and I need to see something real quick. Okay. So the date, the order, or the judgment was signed 11/25/2019. So we've got all the attorneys listed, except for Martinez is not listed here, but that's okay, I suppose. Date the order or judgment was signed was 11/25. Date the notice of appeal filed in trial court was 12/13. It's not an interlocutory appeal, not an accelerated appeal. I think might be, though. I don't know if it is or not. Texas Rule of Appellate Procedure 28. Let's look at that. Oh, wait, we can do it right on here. Texas Rule of Appellate Procedure 28. Accelerated appeals. Interlocutory orders. Appeals in quo warranto proceedings. Appeals required by statute to be accelerated. Appeals required by law to be filed or perfected within less than 30 days after the judgment. I mean, it doesn't matter, but I feel like this might be... Now, they're just appealing the fees, of course. So maybe it doesn't qualify as an appeal of the TCPA entirely, but it is stemming from the TCPA. So I thought it would be appealed or accelerated, but I don't know. Vic's appeal certainly is accelerated. Parental termination, no. Agreed, no. Appeal should receive precedence, preference, or priority under statute, no. Case involve an amount under $100,000, no. That's because you got fisted on fees. Judgment or order disposes of all parties and issues. Yes. That's weird. Appeal from final judgment. Yes. Does the appeal involve the constitutionality or the validity of a statute, rule, or ordinance? No. Motion for a new trial. Yes. Was filed on December 26. Modified judgment 12/26. Request for findings of fact and conclusion of the law. You're not getting the answer to there. Motion to reinstate. Motion under Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 306. No. No on all of that stuff. Inability to pay court costs filed. No. Probably should have. Has any party to the court's judgment filed for protection in bankruptcy which might affect this appeal? No. John Chupp. So the clerk's record is the trial court clerk, district. Was the clerk's record requested? Yes, on 11/14/2019. So that was, and were payments arranged, payment arrangements made with the clerk? Yes. Court reporter is Tina Fett. Order's record, and it was requested. Supersedious bond filed? No, they don't need to. And will you request extraordinary relief? No. What else do we have here? Sorry, I didn't know that this was actually filed. It didn't pop up in my previous search. He'll be referred to mediation. No, we already did that with David Seidler. Pre-trial. Type of case, select. So this is a select case. Good job. They didn't fill any of that out. Will you challenge this court's jurisdiction? No. Whoops. I unclicked that. Apparently I can modify these. We're just clicking everything here. Oh my goodness. Oh, come on. Summary of relief granted, including amount of money judgment, if any. Why didn't they list this? Why didn't they fill this out? Lazy. Judgment have language that one or more parties take nothing? No. Judgment have a Mother Hubbard clause? No. Complexity of the case is a 4. Well, I thought this was a simple case. Simplest case on the planet. Please make my answer to the preceding questions known to other parties in this case. No. Well, I mean, let's see the filing. Can the parties agree on an appellate mediator? No. Pro bono program. Rusty O'Kane has filed this guy here. So, and then e-serve to all of these people. So there's that. This is just a docketing statement. They also have a statement that they have paid their cross-appellate's filing fee of $205 was paid. So there you go. That was paid. Well, that was filed on January 8th. They filed the payment letter. So who knows when they actually paid it. But there you go. So, yeah. So there's the rest of the Vic stuff. I didn't know that happened. William Knape, are court monetary awards taxable? That's a very good question. This is not tax advice, and this is not legal advice, but probably. It depends on the award. It depends on the circumstances. They may be taxable, but they may be offset by the loss that they're recovering. All of those things, but you'd have to consult a tax attorney on that one. I could try and find out. Off the top of my head, the IRS's definition of income would say yes, but whether or not it falls into an exemption, that's a good question. I don't know. But it most likely is. So, all right, let's do this one here. Oh goodness. Get that a little bit smaller. There we go. We can make this just a hair. This is in Dade, Miami-Dade, Florida. Florida. I'm setting off your Google Assistant. Good. Hey Google, search for Minge. Oh. Okay. So this is Highway 61 Entertainment. This is the Trayvon Martin hoax video. This is the Trayvon Martin hoax video. We talked about this because George Zimmerman is suing the family of Trayvon Martin along with many of the attorneys in the case because of this documentary. You set my Google Home on. Sorry, man. I apologize. But let's take a peek at this. This is the I'm gonna try and get this guy on the show. He said he's willing to come on. I would love to talk to him. His name is Joel, and I hope to have him on the show to talk about the documentary. Maybe we could play some good clips of it or something. Figure out how he found this stuff out. Like, how do you find this stuff out? Who are you? How are you? What happened about getting Hook on the show? He hasn't responded to me. I don't know if he's going to. The man is in right now. Hook is in a place where he should not appear anywhere, frankly. If I were Hook's lawyer, I would tell him to stay the hell away from any show. He did that Adam Carolla show right away. That was before his hearing. I think after that hearing, my advice to him, and probably anybody with sanity's advice to him, is stay the shit off of anything until your action is done. That judge is out for blood. I can get if you can get a 75-year-old to figure out how to do a Google alert, it's by being that judge and putting one in for Chris Hook in the hopes that he goes on something public and slips up so you can skewer him, right? Like, that's it. He will unboomer himself to go after that guy. So. Zero the Slayer says, Nick, what did you make my nest look up? Just Judi Dench, buddy. Just Judi Dench. Thumbnails updated. Hey, good night, Tillip. Hey, you guys, make sure you tell Tillip good night. Dude is overworked and underappreciated. Not by me. I mean, he's overworked by me, but he's very much appreciated. Make sure you give him a nice good night. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. All right. So let's get into this lawsuit. So here's the introduction. Here's a synopsis, right? Plaintiff Highway 61 Entertainment brings this action against Coral Gables Cinematheque. operating as Coral Gables Art Cinema, and the city of Coral Gables for breach of contract as well as tortious interference and other cause of action for illegal cancellation of a theater rental agreement contract that was signed and paid for in advance, causing Highway 61 considerable financial harm to its reputation, and harm to its potential to capitalize and benefit from considerable local and national media who had confirmed RSVP attendance to the canceled event. Agents of the cinema also disparaged and defamed Highway 61 and its principal, and lied about the existence of its rental agreement with Highway 61 in the news media in order to cover up its censorship and breach of contract, and harmed Highway 61's reputation. So here we go. Jurisdiction. This is an action for damages in excess of $15,000, exclusive interest, costs, and fees. Venue is proper in Dade County, Florida, as they're both defendants reside in this judicial circuit. Reside in this judicial circuit is in Miami-Dade County, Florida. That's a weird sentence, but we get what they mean. Parties are Highway 61 Entertainment, which is a California corporation since 2003. It produces, sells, and promotes its popular films and books. Highway 61, popular does not necessarily mean that the films and books are popular, but that they are popular level productions. Highway 61, now maybe they are. I'm not trying to disparage Highway 61. I don't want to get sued here. It's a joke. I'm not trying to minimize them. I'm just saying that's what that means. There's not like some, oh, at this many sales, it's popular. It's popular level. These are not academic level. These are not, academic films and books. These are not, these are popular. Highway 61 also organizes and promotes events such as press conferences, film screenings, and band concerts. Its principal is film director, producer, and author Joel Gilbert, who is a nationally known filmmaker, political commentator, and investigative journalist. Coral Gables Art Cinema was launched in 2006 as a partnership between the city of Coral Gables, who owns the building in which the theater is located. Oh, you got government issues here. And the Coral Gables Cinematheque, a nonprofit 501c3 film arts organization. City of Coral Gables is in Miami-Dade County, Florida, located southwest of downtown Miami. Oh, excuse me. Standing. Now, it may look at first glance like the Coral Gables Art Cinema is part of the city of Coral Gables, but if it is a partnership between the city of Coral Gables and the Coral Gables Cinematheque Incorporated, they have actually a separate entity which exists that they jointly own that owns the art cinema. If it is indeed a partnership, so that's where that is. Standing. Plaintiff Highway 61 is standing to bring this action because it's been directly affected, harmed, and victimized by the unlawful conduct complained herein. Injuries approximately related to the conduct of defendants, each and every one of them jointly, severally, and acting in concert. Facts! On September 16, 2019, Highway 61 released a book and film of the same name, The Trayvon Hoax, Unmasking the Witness Fraud That Divided America. On this date, a press conference and theatrical screening of the film was held at the prestigious National Press Club in Washington, D.C. The event was advertised by a Newswire press release to thousands of media outlets. The screening at the National Press Club was attended by the public and media, resulting in nationwide media coverage, including One America News Network, OANN, Town Hall, and many more. The press conference and film were well received, and commentators applauded the film's unimpeachable evidence and investigation that revealed the key witness in the 2013 trial of George Zimmerman. Rachel John Teal was an imposter. Film reviews lauded the film as a service to the public and an indictment of the media and justice system. The film and book versions of The Trayvon Hoax both became available for sale also on September 16, 2019 on Amazon.com and many other outlets, for live streaming on Vimeo.com, and remain commercial products for sale with high sales and excellent reviews. And by the way, I believe the owner of College Humor owns Vimeo. And just as a side note, all but like 5 people have been laid off from College Humor. Which means like 100 people got laid off today from College Humor. So if you care about College Humor and like them, you might want to follow up on that. If you think it's funny that 500 people from College Humor, or that 100 people from College Humor got laid off, then you might want to follow it and mock them. So there you go. Either way, I'm indifferent. I haven't watched College Humor stuff in a while. Did they do the video where Batman can't stop thinking about sex? Was that a College Humor video? Because that was really funny. Where he was stabbed laying there and Bane's like hovering over him. Oh man, those are good. That was a great video. Felipe Movic says, "Hey Nick, talking about whiskey review, please read an email I sent you." Will do, buddy. I think I saw it, but I'll respond to you. Yukai has had an amazing 2019. Got married. Hey, congrats, buddy. Wife finished her U.S. citizenship process. Hey, congrats, buddy Ed. My small business had a record year. Awesome. And one last surprise at Christmas. She's pregnant. Wish me luck, buddy. Keep being awesome, Nick. Hope everyone's 2020 is as blessed as my year. Yukai. Congrats, man. That's a killer year. Way to go. Here's hoping that this year is only better and that you have a healthy baby and a healthy and successful pregnancy with your wife that is uneventful outside of the general stress of a normal pregnancy. So there you go. Hey, guy who talks through a crab. Oh my gosh, that was funny. Whew, that was a good video. All right. On November 23rd, 2019, Highway 61 president and film director Joel Gilbert emailed Cinema by email, writing, "Your theater was recommended and I looked at your website and it does seem ideal. I'm interested in renting your theater from about 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday, December 5th. I want to hold a short Q&A for the public and hopefully press and then screen a 2-hour film. Is this date available and what are the costs?" Though Gilbert soon decided to make it a press-only private event by RSVP and press credentials required. On Monday, November 25th, Cinema Operations Manager Elizabeth Didios responded to Gilbert by email. "Hi, Joel. Thanks for your interest in renting our venue for your film screening and Q&A. We do have availability on Thursday, December 5th for the time you requested, but it would be a strict arrival and exit time of 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. due to our regularly scheduled programming. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. must include time needed to set up and break down the event. Cost for renting the venue is $225 per hour for a minimum of 2 hours. Do you have licensing rights to screen the film? What format is the film on? DCP, Blu-ray, DVD, etc." Also on November 25th, Gilbert responds to Didios. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is fine, as is the hourly fee. Film was made by my production company, so of course we have the rights. I can provide a digital file to be shown from a laptop, a Blu-ray, or DVD. Would you list the event on your website or marquee? What is the capacity? So here we go. We've got issues immediately with this that I don't know if they're pursuing this. Well, they're pursuing this in state court, but there's a federal question here as well. If this is jointly owned by the city, are they doing subject-based censorship in violation of this guy's right to free speech? And they may be. Right now, they're suing for breach of contract and tortious interference. But they may also be engaging in subject matter-based discrimination. So who knows? On November 26th, Gilbert called Didios and got answers to the questions from the email the day before. Didios said that Cinema would not list the event on its website or marquee, that the capacity was 141 people, and that Cinema preferred a Blu-ray disc be used with its projection system for best quality. After the call, Didios sent an email to Gilbert that included an attachment of a 2-page rental agreement contract along with a credit card authorization form. She wrote, "Attached is the rental agreement. Please review, sign, and return to me. A 50% deposit is required to hold the date. This can be paid by check or credit card. I've included a credit card authorization form if you prefer to pay by card." The cinema requires that all renters provide a certificate of commercial general liability insurance in order for rentals to take place on the premises. Coral Gables Cinematheque Incorporated should be listed as an additional insured. I provided 2 links where you can acquire the insurance, but you're welcome to use whichever insurance provider you prefer. Shortly thereafter, also on November 26, Gilbert responded by emailing to DDoS a signed and dated cinema rental agreement and credit card authorization form authorizing full payment of $960.30 to his credit card. Let's see. What, that guy from that thing? What are you talking about? On November 27th, Gilbert emailed DDoS a copy of the receipt and certificate of commercial general liability insurance as required by DZOS, naming Cinema as insured. Also on November 27th, DDoS responded to Gilbert by email. Hi, Joel. This email is to confirm that we have processed the full payment for your rental on December 5th. Thank you. Best, Elizabeth, DDoS Operations Manager, Coral Gables Art Cinema. DDoS agreed to provide a podium and 3 microphones for the Q&A press conference portion of the event, which she confirmed by email as well. In a follow-up call to DDoS, she confirmed that because it was a private event, Cinema would not sell tickets, would not list the event on its website, nor have any staff available other than opening the concessions if desired. Gilbert told DDoS was fine with this and told DDoS he would arrange for security for the event. With the rental of the Coral Gables Art Cinema signed, paid for, all details agreed, and with the venue secured, Gilbert proceeded to prepare for the event by posting announcements on his websites and Twitter, purchasing airline tickets from Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale. They're setting up damages here. Booking hotel rooms and car rental for himself and guests, arranging for security, and coordinating press releases and promotion efforts to advertise the event to the media for his private event with a Boca Raton public relations firm. No tickets were sold to the public, nor was the public invited. It was promoted as a private press-only event with RSVP and press credentials required. On Monday, December 3rd, DDoS emailed Gilbert requesting that he bring his film on Blu-ray disc to test on the cinema projection system with the projectionist, as was mentioned before, and as is customary precaution and practice for film screening events. Gilbert responded by email that he was not yet in town, and they agreed he could come on Wednesday, December 5th, between 1 and 1:15 to test the disc on the cinema projection system with the projectionist for a few minutes to make sure it worked on their system. On Thursday, December 3rd, Gilbert and his public relations firm sent out a press release to all Florida and national media, received dozens of email responses from RSVPs from local Florida and national media confirming they would attend his event, including from CNN, Fox News, Fox TV, CBS 4, NBC, NPR, WPTV, WKMG, WFLA, WPLG, The Sun Sentinel, the Miami Herald, Univision, and many more. Everything was going according to plan. On Wednesday, December 4th at 12:33, when Gilbert was en route to cinema in his rental car with the Blu-ray disc to test at cinema, he received a phone call from DDoS in which he stated that cinema was canceling the event. RIP. Gilbert was in disbelief and demanded to know why. DDoS would not say why it was canceled. When Gilbert requested to speak to DDoS's manager or supervisor, DDoS refused his request and hung up. Gilbert called the cinema's main number and asked for a manager and was put through to Brenda Moe, who identified herself as the cinema manager. Cinema website lists Moe as co-executive director. Gilbert explained that he was just about to arrive at the theater to test Blu-ray with the projectionist, as agreed with DDoS. The DDoS had just called to say the event was canceled by Cinema. Gilbert demanded that the event proceed as scheduled per the signed and prepaid rental agreement contract. Moe then told Gilbert that the mayor of the Coral Gables had called to complain about and tortiously interfere with the event, and that city council members of Coral Gables and Coral Gables' attorney were demanding the cancellation of the event, and that they were presently in her lobby having made those demands. So now you have the city directly involving itself, the mayor, the attorney, and the city council. Gilbert stated to Moe that he had a signed and prepaid rental agreement with Cinema, the event could not be canceled, and that he would suffer financial and other damages and hold Cinema responsible if the event didn't proceed. Demanded that Moe proceed with the event. Moe agreed to relay the demand to the Coral Gables council members and the city attorney who were in her lobby and said she would call Gilbert back in 15 minutes. About 15 minutes later, Mo called Gilbert back and simply stated that the event had been canceled and she would not discuss it further. Gilbert demanded the name and contact of the Coral Gables attorney, but Mo refused, only offering her own email address and said she would forward any email from Gilbert to him. Why, in God's name, would you do that? Unless you intended to not do it, right? Like, that email is never getting forwarded to the Coral Gables attorney. At 1:21 p.m., Cinema tweeted on its official Twitter account, Coral Gables Art Cinema was not aware of all the details surrounding this event and has made a decision to cancel it. I mean, he told them the book title and the DVD title. Oh my gosh. Gilbert shortly thereafter stopped his car and found an internet connection and emailed Mo as follows. You don't have internet on your phone? Come on, Joel. Dear Brenda, thank you for your call. However, I am shocked and disappointed to hear the cancellation of the signed and paid contract for renting your venue tomorrow, December 5th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. My company has gone a substantial effort to organize and arrange to come from California, as well as advertise this event, arrange security, and invite guests. These are good emails he's sending, by the way. We were never requested for content approval for this event, nor asked for a movie to review, nor told the content was subject to approval, only to come test the Blu-ray for a few minutes when I was in town. I'm now in Coral Gables for this test when now told you are canceling. We think you should not be able to cancel this event. You have not even seen the film, by the way. We will suffer substantial financial and other damages if the event does not go ahead as scheduled. Please have your attorney call me immediately to discuss so we can hopefully agree to have the event as scheduled. Mo did not respond. Well, shocker there. And Gilbert did not receive any response from the Coral Gables attorney that Mo had promised to forward his email to. Mo's response was likely, or Mo's reception of that was likely so vindictive that she printed it off and wiped her anus with it. I mean, rather than forward it to the attorney. Now, this is an inflammatory subject, especially in that area, but that is no excuse for behavior like this. But this is what's drawing this visceral reaction. Her last name is Mo. Her last name is Mo. Gilbert desperately tried to find an alternate venue to try to redirect his huge media RSVP response in order to save the situation of potential total losses of expenses, media opportunities, and reputation. And if, buddy, Joel, you're probably not watching, but Joel, I'll email him this too. If you need something, I think I made a crack on air about the event being canceled. I was like, oh, well, maybe this is ridiculous. Before I'd read the lawsuit, I was like, because the event was canceled. It was Larry Klayman had announced it on his webpage, and I was like, oh, cool, they're going to screen the film. And I was like, oh, got canceled. That's weird. I legitimately thought that maybe they had made the decision to cancel because don't take this the wrong way, Joel. It's just my initial gut response was like, oh, they must have canceled. Maybe the director or maybe the documentary guy was kind of a crack job and they don't want to associate with the documentary too much. Like they liked the information, but they didn't want to associate with the documentary. I thought that it was canceled because Zimmerman wanted to disassociate. So I legitimately, that cancellation did damage his reputation in my eyes until I saw the true story, right? So if he needs some sort of statement on that, I'd be happy to provide it. Because it definitely, I've never heard of this guy. I don't know anything about it. And I thought, maybe this was just a complete crackpot. It definitely damaged his reputation in my eyes. Absolutely. So. That would result from the cancellation, given that the media had responded and planned to attend this event in such high numbers. Gilbert contacted several hotels, including the Hyatt and Four Seasons, and not surprisingly was told it was too short notice to rent a ballroom in less than 24 hours. The ballrooms are all booked typically weeks in advance. There are likely no ballrooms available anywhere due to the Art Basel event going on in South Florida. Later that evening, Gilbert had no choice but to inform by email all the media that had RSVP'd that the event had been canceled by cinema, apparently due to some kind of censorship of the film they had not seen nor reviewed, nor even requested a review, nor required a content censorship review, nor prior approval, and due to Coral Gables' interference with his rental agreement as well. Notice that wasn't, well, maybe it was reported in the media. I didn't see anything about it. The next day, the media began to cover cinema's shocking censorship. Well, there you go. And breach of contract cancellation of the Highway 61 event. I didn't see it, but maybe they did. In interviews with local media, Mo began to disseminate, here we go, wildly different stories to justify cinema's breach of contract and cancellation of Gilbert's rental agreement and event, including telling various lies to disparage and defame both Highway 61 and Gilbert. Ooh, let's see. Let's see what Mo said. On December 4th, 2019, the Miami New Times spoke to Mo and wrote, Brenda Mo, the cinema's co-executive director, says someone rented the theater for a private event to show a film. She says people who rent the venue to screen films aren't required to disclose or show theater staff the content of the film beforehand. Mo says staff didn't know all the details about the event and declined to comment about whether there was a contract between the theater and event organizers. We became aware of the details at the same time as everybody else did, and at that moment, we decided to cancel. So this is going to be a problem with their tortious interference unless they've got other information. Now, he's got the emails and the allegation of the phone call stating that the Coral Gables mayor said something. This is their public statement, so. In fact, Mo knew there was a rental agreement with Highway 61, so that's a lie, and intentionally withheld this information in her statement, while falsely claiming she did not know the details about the event. So there's another lie. These are lies about allegedly material facts. In fact, all the details about the event that cinema required were in the rental agreement, and other details were agreed upon with Didios, including cinema providing the theater, podiums, microphone, and other open concessions, with Gilbert renting the theater and providing a Blu-ray disc. In the Miami Herald on December 4th, 2019, Mo continued to try to falsely spin cinema's breach of contract and censorship of Gilbert's film when she was quoted as saying, "This was not a cancellation of a film. This was a cancellation of a private event. This is a private rental, and we were contacted by a private party wanting to rent the cinema. And then a press release was put out by the party. And the moment we read that, we said we were not aware of the details and canceled the rental." What do you care? That's a weird statement, like, oh, a press release went out about a private rental. Nope, we canceled. Okay. On December 5th, 2019, Mo continued to falsely spin more lies in the media to defame and disparage Highway 61 and Gilbert. CBS 4, Miami's Joan Murray. CBS 4, Miami's Joan Murray spoke to Mo and wrote, the theater's co-executive director, Mo, said Gilbert never had a contract and never told them the title of the film. In fact, Mo knew that Highway 61 had a signed rental agreement with cinema that was paid in full. All details had been arranged and worked out in advance. Yet Mo lied to CBS 4, claiming Gilbert never had a contract, to defame Gilbert and harm his reputation, falsely claiming that experienced and reasonable film director was so irresponsible that he would plan for an event and invite the local and national media to an event without even having a contract for the venue. It says contact, but they mean contract. Mo's comment that Gilbert never told them of the title of the film falsely implied that somehow Gilbert withheld the film title to defraud the cinema in a shady act, when in fact cinema never requested nor did it require any film title approval nor film content approval, which Mo in fact admitted to in other interviews with the media. On December 5th, 2019, the South Florida Sun-Sentinel's Eileen Kelly wrote an article in which she quoted Mo as saying, "Our understanding was this was just a simple thing, and that changed completely once those details were made apparent to us. And we had to make a decision to cancel the rental." What made it less than a simple thing? It's still a private event. You still didn't advertise it. What made it less than simple? Architect of Fate says, rest in peace, LCPL Timothy Action Jackson, U.S. Marine Corps, and Sergeant Alexander Smitty Smith, U.S. Marine Corps. Semper Fi, brothers. Some battles cannot be fought alone. Hashtag 22 a day. There you go. Rip. This was another lie. As all the details had been worked out between Sinema and Gilbert prior to the event, Mo again implies that Gilbert withheld details from Sinema, which he did not. In the article, Eileen Kelly also wrote, Mo said once word got out that her venue was set to screen the movie, people blasted the cinema in emails, phone calls, and social media. She said that had the screening proceeded as scheduled, there certainly would have been protesters. Mo is also quoted saying, we are really embarrassed by allowing ourselves to be put in this situation. You should be embarrassed for canceling the contract and sounding like an idiot. We never knew the title. We never heard the name George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin. This has become a huge mess, and we are sorry we are stuck in the middle of it. Also, according to the article, Mo said the only thing the theater knew about the booking was that it was a private screening of a documentary by a guy named Joel. In fact, Mo knew the contract was with Highway 61 and disparaged Gilbert by claiming that they only knew about a guy named Joel to imply Gilbert had withheld required information about his event, which he did not. Florida Sun Sentinel's Eileen Kelly also wrote, Mo said the theater needed to do a better job understanding clients' needs. Are you guys tired of that phrase yet? We just need to do better. We needed to do better. We need to do better. In 2020, we need to do better. You guys need to do better. I am so tired of hearing needed to do better, needed to do a better job. The article continued. When asked what she would tell Gilbert, had she known ahead of time the title and nature of the film, Mo said she would say they don't have availability. If he contacted me, I would have told him we were full. So he would have lied. That's good. That's good. Go ahead and just put that in the paper. I would have lied. Why didn't you consult your fake Coral Gables attorney? What the hell is wrong with you? I would have lied to him. That's what I would have done. Great. If this thing goes to trial, they can just go straight out and impeach her credibility for truthfulness. Right there. She just said, I would have lied to the news. Would have lied. Yep. Jesus. Good Lord. And this quote, Mo indicates that she was willing to personally censor Gilbert in the future based on the film's subject matter, even if she had not seen the film. And that is in fact what she did in this case. Mo also admitted to tell this or any other reporter in her many interviews what she had told Gilbert at the time of the cancellation, that the mayor of Coral Gables had voiced an objection to Gilbert's rental agreement contract, and that city council members and the city attorney of Coral Gables had come to her lobby demanding cancellation of Highway 61's rental agreement contract and the event. Highway 61 has not been mentioned before in this lawsuit, but is a serious company. Nick Sex says, Nikki, please rank in order from best to worst. Need to do better. You're part of the problem, or the ironic use of y'all. Worst is the ironic use of y'all. Only use y'all if you mean it. Need to do better. Next, and you're part of the problem. Because some people are part of the problem. What the problem is debatable, but yeah. Ironic use of y'all, every one of them are part of the problem. Okay. The Daily Dot, huge publication, spoke to Mo, reported on December 12th. Mo told the Daily Dot that once the cinema learned of the documentary's details, it decided to cancel the rental. Mo said the cinema isn't aware of the content being screened when it comes to private screenings. This is part of our business model. We rent the cinema the same way as a hotel that rents out its conference rooms, Mo said. Mo told the Daily Dot that no transaction had been made, and the only thing we were involved in was that someone wanted to use the cinema for a private event. Uh-oh, lied again. He's got the receipts. Mo again lied to disparage Highway 61 and Gilbert in her comments to the Daily Dot, claiming that no transaction had been made, when in fact she knew there was a signed rental agreement contract in cinema for a press event and film screening, and that it was paid in full in advance. Mo defamed Highway 61 again to make it look amateurish and harm its reputation by claiming no transaction had been made. Legal counsel for plaintiff Highway 61 contacted defendants on the day of the cancellation and made the following demand, which went completely unanswered and remains so to this day, compelling this complaint for a redress of plaintiff's damages, which are continuing. Quote, you will be sued for fraud, breach of contract, promissory estoppel, civil theft, violations of First Amendment freedom of speech, civil rights violations, as you are acting under color of state law given the mayor's involvement, and other related causes of action, if the contract or other rights at issue are not respected and honored. Let's see how many of those they actually did. I don't think any of them. Oh, just breach of contract. Oh, excuse me. Woo! One yawn, one drink. Oh, that was just a drop. Breach of contract. Plaintiff Highway 61 realleges everything, blah, blah, blah. Entered into a binding contract with defendant Cinema to rent out cinema space from defendants in exchange for monies. Plaintiff Highway fulfilled its end of the bargain by remitting the full sum to defendant Cinema. Got full performance. Defendant Cinema breached its contract with Plaintiff Highway 61, entered into and agreed to with consideration, causing great past, present, and continuing damage to plaintiff by unilaterally canceling the rental agreement and refusing to provide plaintiff with cinema space. As a result of defendant's breach, for which there was no justifiable excuse, plaintiff 61 has suffered damages as set forth in this complaint. This is a very strong claim. If everything they say in this thing is true, this is hammer blows, right? Like the TI is a different story. Breach of contract. I mean, they breached the contract. He paid them and they stopped him from coming. Depends on the cancellation clause. If there is one, we get the impression that there's not, but that doesn't mean there actually isn't. So we'll have to see. I don't know if the contract's attached here. TI with contract against Coral Gables. 61 entered into a valid binding contract with defendant Cinema to rent out the space and to hold and publicize its event in exchange for monies. Coral Gables knew of this valid binding contract, willfully and or negligently and tortuously took action to induce defendant Cinema to breach the contract with plaintiff Highway 61 with no legal justification. As a result of defendant Coral Gables' conduct, for which there was no justifiable excuse, defendant Cinema did in fact breach the agreement, which has directly and proximately caused plaintiff Highway 61 to suffer damages as set forth in the complaint. Wherefore, plaintiff Highway 61 prays for actual and compensatory damages, which include but are not limited to past financial and pecuniary losses, loss of goodwill and reputation, loss of future income in an amount in excess of $670,000, filed by Clayman Law Group. So there you go. Man, I gotta get one of these guys on the show, right? Well, I gotta get Joel on the show. I wonder if he'll help me get Larry on the show. Be interested to talk to Larry about this stuff. So here we go. So here's the contract, it seems. This will serve as your official agreement. Let's take a peek at this and see if there's any problems. Ghetto TV says, hey, Brackets, here is $20 to take a full glass shot. Thanks for being always informative and entertaining. Full glass shot. Like a shot glass shot? Do I have a normal size shot glass? Okay, just a second here. I have these plastic ones. Plastic shot glasses are really depressing. Oh, wait. No, I got one right here. Okay. All right. There we go. Don't get your hopes up. I can't do this very often. Here's my Hose Mad shot glass. Just for you guys. All right. So there you go. Woo! That'll be interesting in about 15 minutes, probably. Intimidator0108 says, just got done doing day 1 with Modern Warfare for my 2-day birthday stream that started yesterday. Finishing up later today after work with either Call of Duty World War II or Forza Horizon 4. That said, enjoying a little birthday wine before bed. Hey, happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday wine. I will not be doing shots for liquor on this. Wait. I will not be doing any more shots for money on this stream. I would love to entice you guys to send me a whole bunch of money to do shots, but I'll break. I'll break. To quote AI, I'll break. Daniel Thomas says, hey, Nick, regarding possible settlement in Meier versus Wade, I'm apt to agree with you on the matter. Settlement can be considered a victory for either party. It would be in favor of Meier rather than Wade, in my opinion. Me too. My opinion, too. And another year and a couple months of litigation at the minimum is going to cost a lot. It's going to cost a lot. So we'll do a liquor stream sometime soon, but I've already had like 3. I don't know if I had 2 or 3 before that shot, but that was that's gonna be good. You may want to watch while you're here. You may want to watch on Twitch tonight. It could be interesting. Could be interesting on Twitch tonight. We'll still go Twitch. Okay, this email will serve as your official agreement with Coral Gables Cinematheque for rental of the Coral Gables Art Cinema on Thursday, December 5th, 2019. We will rent the cinema, inclusive of the venue, labor, and use of all requested equipment for a final total of $960.30. This includes a 4-hour venue rental and 1 house manager projectionist. You may use an outside catering service to provide food and drink for the event. Venue use policies. Box office. Coral Gables Art Cinema will not provide box office services for this event, but we do reserve the right to run our concession stand during the rental time. If we do so, this would be at our cost, and we will keep the proceeds. I could use some movie theater popcorn right now. Oh my goodness. Setup and or cleanup must take place during the times of the paid rental, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must vacate the theater by no later than 3 p.m. after your rental if there is any damage to the theater beyond normal wear and tear. You'll be responsible for paying the repair costs immediately, and I believe that should be in all prostitution contracts as well. Alcohol and smoking. The renter assumes all liability associated with the consumption of alcohol and agrees to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless SEGAC and all associated personnel from and against any and all claims, demands, suits, judgments, or other liability of any nature whatsoever resulting from the presence, serving, and or consumption of alcoholic beverages during the event. The renter acknowledges to understanding Florida state legal drinking age is 21 years of age. No smoking, electronic, or otherwise is allowed anywhere in the building. No evidence of smoking will be left on or around the plaza. Renter will use receptacles beyond the plaza pillar for depositing extinguished tobacco products. I also believe that should be included in prostitution contracts to prevent prostitutes from being burned by cigars. Decorations. All decorations must be approved by CAGAC operations manager. Photographic, likeness, and branding release. Names, logos, trademarks, quotes, photographic likenesses. Likeness may be used in all forms and media trade and other lawful purposes on behalf of SEGAC. Whoops. SEGAC may use photographs taken by staff or professional photographers for purposes of advertising and marketing of the venue, both in print and internet form. So they gave them permission to make a press release right there. Photographic, likeness, and branding release. Names, logos, trademarks, quotes, photographic likenesses may be used in all forms and media, trade, and other lawful purpose on behalf of SEGAC. So he had full permission to offer the press release that they cited as the problem. No, the mug. Tomorrow for the whiskey stream, guys. Tune in for the whiskey stream tomorrow. I have got a special mug just for that stream. But anyway, back to it. They gave them permission to make the press releases that they later complained about. Rental changes. Be advised that any changes to your screening schedule or requirements may entail increase in fees. No guarantee is made that requested changes will be accommodated. Okay. We require the following. So he didn't request a change, so that's fine. We require the following to confirm the rental. You must reply to this email with your agreement for our records. You must pay half of the $960.30 immediately to confirm the dates above. Paying by check, please make the check payable, blah, blah, blah. He paid the whole amount. I assume he replied to this email specifically. And if you are exhibiting copyrighted motion pictures, you must agree to provide, if so requested, satisfactory proof you are authorized to exhibit the copyrighted materials at the cinema. U.S. copyright laws provide the unauthorized exhibition of copyrighted materials without permission of the rights holder is a violation of U.S. copyright and is subject to civil and criminal penalties of $250K per infraction, maximum 5 years in prison for each unauthorized exhibition. In entering into this contract, you agree to hold harmless the CGC and indemnify it against any violation of copyright law. You further agree to defend the CGC as a result of any unauthorized exhibition of the copyrighted materials provided. As soon as possible, you must submit a certificate of insurance as evidence of general liability insurance on an occurrence basis, subject to the provisions, limits, and limitations of Section 768.28 Florida statutes, as may be amended. Any workers' compensation employer's liability coverage is required by Florida statute for your own employees that night. There we go. That's it. That's it. There is no cancellation policy. They literally don't have one. Here we have this. November 26th. Joel Gilbert. Am authorizing the use of my credit card to cover the following charges. Blah, blah. Last four is 4009. Good job, Joel. There's the billing address. Please send a copy of the front and back of the credit card. Thank you. Okay. Just making sure. Certificate of liability insurance. There we go. Contact name is Will Maddox. Will Maddox. Will Maddox ever grow his Twitch channel? The answer is no. Here's the host liquor liability and retail liquor liability from insurance company. Eventhelper.com. Here's their policy. So there you go. I mean, breach of contract, nailed it. Nailed it. This is their whole agreement as far as we can tell. This email will serve as your official agreement with Coral Gables for a rental on Thursday, December 5th. Nailed it. Done. Tortious interference. Based on his statements, good. They need discovery, obviously, to get the rest. But assuming they get some stuff in deposition, I think the Coral Gables Art Cinema is about to get pilloried. Pilloried like a Hillary detractor. By the way, I am less than 200 followers on Twitch away from Maddox. You guys could make it happen tonight. If you're not following me on Twitch, even if you never use it, just go follow me on Twitch and you will help me pass Maddox. He is a scourge of the earth. You don't have to subscribe. You don't ever have to watch. It's literally for the meme of being a bigger Twitch channel than Maddox. So if you want to go make that happen, just go check me out on twitch.tv/Rekieta Law and come watch tonight. The Twitch streams are chill and fun usually, but oh my gosh, this venue played itself. This contract is garbage. They should immediately fire their attorney. This is terrible. They have no cancellation policy at all. Theoretically, a hurricane comes through and knocks out the cinema. They don't have a cancellation policy for Act of God. What? Iran blows it up. They don't have a cancellation policy for an act of terrorism or an act of war. What are they doing? You want 50% off merch for following me on Twitch? I can't even give you 50% off merch. I'd have to write each one of you a check. Paul Godin. Oh, yeah, I'm a Twitch thought buddy. I even wear thought tops for Twitch. So, there you go. I do wear a wife beater on Twitch streams. It is really embarrassing. So, man, I would love to talk to Larry Klayman. He has got to be fully erect at the thought of this lawsuit. He has Coral Gables Cinematheque by the short and curlies on breach of contract. City of Coral Gables is a matter of discovery, and once he gets that discovery, he can amend the pleading to add in a he might have to file in federal court for the 1983 claim for the basically censorship in violation of First Amendment rights, which this is absolutely censorship. If any decision makers involved in this that involves government, absolute censorship and is disgusting, and they should be thrown in the gulag for that. CJ, check my $5 above. Here we go. So I'll read that one first. CJ says Miriam Solar Ramos, city attorney. City attorney at coralgables.com. I'm pretty sure he could have found that when he was on his phone. Maybe CC her. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do that. It's not his job to do so. But check my $5 above. 17 years of government experience, including 9 in the area of local government ethics. Previously, Ms. Ramos served as Deputy General Counsel for the Miami-Dade Commission on Ethics and Public Trust. I mean, if Ms. Ramos is out there advocating censorship, she should be removed from her position. Are you guys tired of the censorship yet? I am effing tired of censorship. Just stop. Stop. This is a government-owned theater. What are they censoring? Oh, your government is allowing access to a normal person paying the same fee as everybody else, and then that might cause a protest? Too bad. Call your government police. Siren Jag says, as Miss Piggy... Come on, man. Does this mean you're going to make love to me tonight, Christian? Christian Gray, no, Miss Piggy, it doesn't. Firstly, I don't make love. I pork hard. Have you read or watched? Siren, read or watched 50 Shades? Oh. Look, Siren slipped in a real quote in there, so I got to know if he watched it or read it. Blair White new child predator allegations against the GameStop trans. Breaking news. No, it's ma'am? Oh no. I know someone who lives near It's Ma'am. God, wouldn't that be great to get It's Ma'am on the show? I have so many dreams. Siren Jag, don't lie, buddy. Neither. You know you watched or read it. I haven't watched it yet. I want to. Absolutely. I am, after all, a consummate coomer. And I definitely want to watch the movie along with Lady Rackets. For various personal reasons. I did read the books, though. I did read the book. No, not the books. I have all 3 books, but I've only read the first one. And I did publish a full review of it on Facebook a long time ago. So, let's see. Don't bring that cattle head on the show. So anyway. Cave Canum. No. And yes, Amazing Lucas is on the short list. Are you a power bottom that's into pegging? No. Dear Christ, what is wrong with you? Whew. Amazing Lucas. I will commit to talking to Amazing Lucas tomorrow, or sending him a message tomorrow. I've got another attorney who would like to call into the show. Kendra Paris. I need to talk to her. I just saw Kendra in a news story about revising the red flag laws down in Florida. Very interested. So my goal for Kendra is to put together a Second Amendment panel. I have her. I have another guy who is a Second Amendment advocate that I'm considering. And I'd like to get at least one more person on a full Second Amendment panel. I may reach out to Stephen Gutowski, the Second Amendment reporter for the Washington Free Beacon, as well. There's a lot of good people. I want to get them on. I want to talk Second Amendment stuff. It's time. It's time for a Second Amendment case to go to the Supreme Court. These red flag laws are rife with violations, constitutional violations, and are ripe for this type of hearing to clarify what we need to do. This is the real Second Amendment dilemma. It doesn't matter the individual Second Amendment issue. What we need the Supreme Court to do is lock down the level of scrutiny that is to be applied to Second Amendment cases. So far, we don't have one. We have Scalia saying it should maybe be somewhere between strict and intermediate scrutiny, but not committing to it before he was killed by Hillary Clinton. We just don't know. We don't know how the Supreme Court is going. This is the bastardist, stepchildest of constitutional amendments, the Second Amendment. As far as the Supreme Court goes, they ignore cases, they let discrepancies between circuits go on, and they do not resolve severe they literally, this is how bad it is, y'all. They don't even know what standard of review they should apply to it. That's how few cases. In speech, strict scrutiny. Racial issues, strict scrutiny. Gender issues, intermediate scrutiny. They know these things. They know the level of scrutiny that they have. Commercial speech, rational basis, for example. They know the levels of scrutiny that they apply to all of these different things. They don't know it for the Second Amendment, which is an enumerated right in the Bill of Rights. That's how pathetically cowardly our Supreme Court has been on this. So it doesn't matter what issue gets to the Supreme Court. We need them to determine the level of scrutiny to provide. If the Supreme Court chooses strict scrutiny as the basis of review for Second Amendment issues, we win as a people because it will prevent. Think of how hard it is to regulate incest porn with brutal BDSM anal in the title, okay? Think of how hard it is to regulate that. That's because strict scrutiny is applied to artistic speech. No other reason. No other reason than that. Strict scrutiny means that you will win on almost everything. And you will win so hard that they will be remiss to even pass legislation because they know they will lose. Okay? Now, the reason I picked that title as an example is because, I'm a pro free speech guy, and I'm certainly I'm opposed to the banning of pornography. But that's one of those things that is probably straying into that little realm of obscenity, right? Like tiptoeing in the waters of obscenity with incest BDSM anal porn, right? Like that we can probably draw the line and say that's maybe obscene. I'm not sure if the story content of that particular video is going to outweigh the prurient interest that it's created for. But even so, that is literally fine because of how strong strict scrutiny is. That's why I'm drawing the comparisons here. That's why I'm drawing the comparisons. And this is what's missing from the pornography debate, because it's a non-nuanced debate. And I know nuance is for cucks like Destiny. I get it. But the porn debate really it's lacking actual definitions. It's lacking definitions. It's lacking clarity from the side who wants to ban it, which is why people like me are like, wait a minute, I'm not comfortable with banning things. I'm less comfortable than the chick getting anal right now. That's where we are in this debate. And I think the debate is largely fizzling out, but that's where the problem is. I can acknowledge that there are things that are probably in that obscenity category that likely shouldn't be protected speech for various reasons. I think it should all be protected because I'm just me. I think almost everything should be protected. But I can at least see the argument that it shouldn't be, right? But we're not even getting to that argument. The same thing will happen on guns if we can get strict scrutiny applied, and we need to, because guns are a more clearly defined right than the pornography is. We need to do it. We need the Supreme Court to nut up or shut up and put down what level of scrutiny applies to Second Amendment review. That's what people like Kendra Paris are doing. This is important legal work. And that's why I want to have her on the show, along with one or two other people, to really hash out these Second Amendment issues. So. Whoa, Nick. If the government can ban weed because of commerce, why can't they ban porn? I didn't say they kind of can, except for the speech element of it. That's the only thing stopping it. Weed apparently isn't speech. But I don't think the government should be able to regulate weed in the way that they do. I really don't. I think the Commerce Clause is abused harder than the women in the Girls Do Porn lawsuit were. I think the Commerce Clause is abysmally interpreted by the court to give way too much leeway to the Congress. So, but yeah, it's a good question. But weed isn't speech as far as, except for some religions can get a religious exception for marijuana usage as part of their protected religious speech. There you go. Anyway, these are good questions. They're very, very complex questions. I would love to talk about them more. But that is this complaint. I will be hopefully having Joel on the show sometime soon. I would love to get Larry Klayman on to talk about these two lawsuits, this one and the Zimmerman lawsuit. I don't know if he'd be interested. I don't know how to communicate to these people. I think you'll find a rather friendly audience in my audience, and people who want to know about these issues, who want to know about this stuff. So I hope that they would be willing to talk. But I will talk to Joel first, and then hopefully leverage that connection to talk to Larry as well, because I would love to bring him on the stream and talk about, this or other issues that Larry's interested in. He's kind of a public attorney as well. It would be interesting to see what his thoughts are on a lot of different subjects. The Dark Knight says, Vic, can his mic be turned up, Your Honor? I hate to keep asking you to repeat, but I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm so sorry. Is that better? Oh, God. Oh, God. Stream is not frozen. I was just laughing. So hard. So hard. Oh, that was a beautiful burn. We are coming up, guys. You know, we're 7 days away, starting officially today. My time we progressed to the 9th. We're 7 days away from the 1 year anniversary of Vic's issues. Speaking of that, while I'm mentioning it, let's bring up the GoFundMe quick, and then let's wrap up the show in just a minute here. We're $269,645. Thank you to Anonymous for your donation 21 minutes ago. We're still plugging away at this thing. Again, I will be bringing you the, any filings that come out, we will cover it. Any big news in the case will be covered. Hose mad about the case will be covered from time to time as well. So, all right. Let's do the chats. Then let's wrap up the stream. I'm not going to go through. I've got the complaint for Sandman right here. Or not Sandman, but we've got John Doe's 1 through 10. These are the Covington kids that are not Nicholas Sandman. And they are going after Deborah Holland, Anna Violetta, Navarro Flores, Elizabeth Warren, Maggie Haberman, Kathy Griffin, Matthew John Dowd, Reza Aslan, Kevin M. Cruz, Jeffrey Sean King, the whitest man on the planet, Adam Edelin, Clara Jaffrey, and Jody Jacobson. So I have this one. Let's do this a different day because it's only this is just the removal motion is 6 pages, but then we've got the actual complaint, which is 114. Look at this. And we've got the exhibits. Well, it's okay. The complaint is 27 pages, but complaint plus exhibits is 114. This veteran put his life on the line for our country. Talking about Nathan Phillips, the stolen honor, stolen valor, fake Vietnam veteran who wasn't even old enough to be in Vietnam, if I remember correctly. The student's display of blatant hate, disrespect, and intolerance is a signal of how common decency has decayed under this administration. Heartbreaking. Congresswoman Deb Haaland, Anna Navarro, must watch Native American elder taunted by racist MAGA hat wearing teens, speaks and cries for America, the country he defended and sacrificed and wore the uniform for. It is people like Nathan Phillips who make America great. Thank you for your dignity, sir, and for the fact that all of your teeth are rotting out of your face. Don't forget that one. Sean King, I'm so deeply grieved and angry by this as young kids in MAGA hats surrounded and mocked a beloved Native American elder yesterday. When your power is centered in your whiteness, Sean, that's you, buddy. Mocking others who are unlike you makes you feel strong, but it's weak and despicable. Maggie Haberman, when adults stand by and say nothing. And they're retweeting stuff. Here we go. We're retweeting stuff in all of these things. They're tweeting stuff. They're tweeting videos. This is crucial. They just tweeted their words. They would have less things. But part of the theory of this lawsuit, tweeting blogs, they're giving validity to the lies of other people in their stuff here. Another video from this now infamous incident involving a Native American Vietnam vet. A young person scoffs at the idea of stolen land, and y'all stole it from the Aboriginals. Land gets stolen. That's how it works. It's the way of the world. Are they saying that Sandman said that? I thought he didn't say anything. Mm-hmm. Reza Aslan says, honest question. Have you ever seen a more punchable face than this kid? Yeah, Reza, yours, right? Like, you have an absolutely smugly punchable face. It's great. Deb Holland, a Native American Vietnam veteran, was seen being harassed and mocked by a group of MAGA hat wearing teens. Maggie Haberman, dozens of students laughing and egging on the behavior. Will be interesting to see if anyone is actually expelled, as officials suggest is possible. Will be really interesting to see if you get sued into the ground. Oh, God, I hope so. Elizabeth Warren, Omaha elder and Vietnam War veteran. Nathan Phillips endured hateful taunts with dignity and strength, then urged us all to do better. To do better. Nathan Phillips, Vietnam. Snopes.com will help us out here. Did Nathan Phillips falsely claim he was a Vietnam veteran? Nuances frequently get lost amid social media uproar and hastily filed news reports. Nathan Phillips falsely claimed to be a U.S. military veteran who served in the Vietnam War. Unproven. Man, a lot of people sure think it. Native American activist Nathan Phillips said he served in the U.S. Marines and told news outlets that he was a Vietnam Times or Vietnam era veteran. What's false? Contrary to what multiple news reports initially stated, Nathan Phillips was not deployed to Vietnam or any time during his military service. This is unproven? No! It's false. It's just false. That's how you... False. Let's see. According to multiple news accounts, the activist is 64 years old, which means he would have been 18 years old in 1973. Last year, any U.S. combat units were stationed in Vietnam. Mr. Phillips also claimed to be a Marine veteran, although the last Marine combat units left Vietnam in 1971. Okay. Other sites more harshly classified the discrepancy as stolen valor. While it's true that a number of January 2019 accounts from national news outlets incorrectly labeled Phillips as a Vietnam veteran, use of that label in those reports did not, as far as we can tell, originate with Phillips himself. The Native American activist told reporters in January 2019 that he was a Vietnam Times or Vietnam era veteran, meaning he was an active member of the armed services during the time of U.S. military involvement in Vietnam, not that he had been deployed. Well, that's... Well, where'd it come from then? Oh, man. With that level of... I mean, where... didn't originate from him. Oh, God. Look at all these people. In an older rambling Facebook video that surfaced after the controversy broke, though, Phillips could seemingly be heard to say, "I'm a Vietnam vet, and I served in Marine Corps 72 to 76. I got discharged May 5th, 76. I don't talk about much about my village." Let's check it out. Shall we go to the tape? Let's go. We're not going to listen to this whole thing, obviously. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this Thanos beaten face. How do... No. Hold on. I got to get to the... I'll get to the meat of it. 9 minutes and 35 seconds, huh? We got it.
My birthday to be, really wasn't. I'm a Vietnam vet. I served in the Marine Corps 72 to 76.
Hold on. Let's go back. Let's rewind the tape. Rewind the tape, sir. Okay. Here we go. So you guys can see it.
Yeah, I was thinking it wasn't exactly how I wanted my birthday to be. You know, it really wasn't. I'm a Vietnam vet. You know, I served in the Marine Corps 72 to 76.
I'm a Vietnam vet. This didn't come from him. The mystery about where his claims of being a Vietnam veteran remains unsolved. God, it's in their own article. It's in an older, rambling Facebook video. This predates the events in question. Where do you think they got it? But in other similar videos, Phillips described himself as a Vietnam-era vet, or references Marine Corps service without mentioning Vietnam. In those many hours of interviews and videos, Phillips has made a number of unclear or ambiguous statements about his service that will allow a variety of interpretations or misinterpretations. No, it doesn't. Oh my God. Let's see. In reference to a form related to his discharge, that he left the service in peacetime, and what my box says is that I was in theater. He didn't say what theater, though, nor did he directly declare that he was in fact in theater during his time in the Marines. He cryptically observed something about a box. This guy's literally stolen valor. Like, this is how it works. You imply something that you didn't do to the point where it's believable enough and hard enough to research that the average person just doesn't go after it. In a 2018 Vogue article about Standing Rock, Phillips referenced Vietnam as his being a recon ranger, but again, the statement was ambiguous. He said he was from Vietnam times, and I'm what they call a recon ranger, but it was again unclear whether he intended his statement to convey that he had actually served as a recon ranger. Of course he did in Vietnam, which he did not. Yes, he intended to do it, though. That's the whole purpose. Oh my God. Like, if I go visit the Supreme Court, okay? If I go visit the Supreme Court and I get into an argument at the Supreme Court right in front of the building, okay? Right in front of the Supreme Court building, I get into an argument with some idiot on the street. And then I say, look, I'm Nick Rekieta. I'm a lawyer from Minnesota. I've argued in front of the Supreme Court. What does that mean to you? Well, I didn't say I argued after appearing in front of the Supreme Court, or I argued on behalf of a client, or I argued a constitutional issue. But I literally just said I argued in front of the Supreme Court. The whole point of me saying it that way would be to deceive you into thinking that I had some additional level of credibility. Jesus God. Well, let's see farther. It's unclear again whether he was using the term recon ranger to describe his post-military activities. Oh, you know, your post-military recon ranger activities. I have a relative here who said he'd lead the way and scout ahead for us. Phillips continued, his voice breaking. You know, I'm from Vietnam times. I'm what they call a recon ranger. That was my role. So I thank you for taking that point position for me. Oh boy, Snopes is garbage. Kathy Griffin, P.S. The reply from the school was pathetic and impotent. Name these kids. I want names, shame them. If you think these effers wouldn't dox you in a heartbeat, think again. Names, please, and stories from people who can identify them and vouch for their identity. Thank you. Robert Barnes is going ahead and throwing out retracting the libel. Matthew Dowd, folks, let us not let these kids, their parents, and their school off the hook, regardless of what led up to this. This is awful. Regardless of what led up to this. Doesn't matter. Context doesn't matter. They don't care. Anyway. Oh, there's only two more. I'm truly dismayed at how many in MSN got worked yet again by conservative claims that one video exonerated these kids. I've watched them all. None put them in a better light unless you're really reaching. Some are a lot worse than the original. Tapes that have emerged do show the BHI doing their usual end times ranting, but they also show the Covington Catholic kids making cavemen gestures at BHI, tomahawk chanting at natives, taunting random women, chants of build the wall, and it's not rape if you enjoy it. They did not. I refuse to believe the Covington kids chanted, it's not rape if you enjoy it. Oh. Jay Caruso says, what? The accusation was that this lad and his friends surrounded Phillips and got in his face when in fact it was Phillips who approached him and started banging a drum in his face. Come on, man. So that's from Jay Caruso. Response by Kevin Cruz. No, the accusation was that this kid and his friends mocked an elderly Native American war veteran, and hey, they did. They literally didn't. He's not a war veteran. That much is clear. They also taunted women and shouted, it's not rape if you enjoy it. But sure, they're the real victims, according to his PR firm anyway. They literally didn't do this. This is a false statement of fact. It's provable. They could say they didn't know, right? But that kid's not a public figure. They don't have to have actual malice, just negligence. It's out there that he's not a Vietnam veteran. Anyway, here's the amended complaint. We're not going to go through this tonight, obviously. This is long. The amended complaint is 38 pages, and then we've got more tweets. Anyway, you guys can see what we're looking at here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. They're suing each of the defendants individually for 5 figures plus, depending on the defendant. So we'll go through that at some other time. And I would love to get Robert Barnes on the show. Laughing Man D8D says Don Shipley, Buds 131, lost his YouTube channel after calling this guy out for stolen valor. Dude was a refer tech, not a recon. Or not recon. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Crayon Eaters, but isn't Marine Recon like the elite of Marine Special Forces? Or of U.S. Special Forces even? Like, Marine Recon is pretty high up there, if I remember right. So, yeah. That's a good one to steal valor from, I suppose. No, Marine Recon is just the best of the Marine Corps. Well, but I mean, if you talk to the Marine Corps, they'll tell you they're the best of everybody. Louis Rossman. Yeah, someone else sent me a thing about Louis Rossman. I'll have to check it out. He said he was Marine Rangers. He said he was Recon Rangers. Anyway. All right. Well, let's read these chats. Let's wrap this up. Let's move over to Twitch where I can eat in peace. Bryce Byerly says Phillips is the elite of the refrigerator techs. Oh no. Watch Heartbreak Ridge now. I'm not gonna watch Heartbreak Ridge now. Yeah. So let's wrap up this show so I can go eat in peace. If you do leave during the chats, thank you for hanging out tonight. Tomorrow night, we will have a whiskey review stream with this Beautiful. Beautiful. Cloud Splitter Whiskey. This is the monthly whiskey review stream that is promised. And I'll talk about, I'll mention the person who sent me this whiskey, thank them for it properly. And we will test a two-year whiskey, which I imagine has a little bit of kick to it. But it's twitch.tv/Rekieta Law. So make sure you come, follow on Twitch, and make sure you come. That's the key. And follow on Twitch so we can pass Maddox. And then stay around, watch me boomer through some video games. And there should be an expansion of that Twitch content coming real soon as well. So here we go. We've got, wait a minute now. Blue Samurai Zero says, from Myers-Wade settlement, I'd like to see a full and thorough public apology with admissions of guilt, specifying his behavior, ill intent, and bad motives. Admitting he wanted to cancel Richard C. Meyer, etc. I'm okay with leaving the monetary damage private. Yeah, that makes some sense there. Raul Cheeto says, do you know the SPCC guy? No, I don't. Can you comment on the legality of such an operation? If you don't know, I can follow up. Yeah, follow up with me. It really depends on his practices, who he's calling, and all of that stuff. If he's asked to stop to a specific person, all of those things, and what the specific states are that he's calling. So, who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of factors, but yeah, follow up if you want. I would need more details to comment on it. All right. Elliot Keaton says, tosses a toonie. Some nobody says, I hope he sues them for the rest of his life. A-holes. Elliot Keaton says, for every $1 donated in the next hour, Nick will take a shot of whiskey. If he reads this, it is legally binding. That's how the law works. No. How dare you, sir? Gunnar Renee Oy says, Krugman probably fell for one of those scam emails that claims to be sent from your own address. I think Krugman may just have child porn on his computer because he's Paul Krugman. Man, elites live different lives than us. Who's going to investigate Paul Krugman? TLJ Screwjob says, Lemoine's projecting with those lyrics, Nikki. Yeah, I know. I didn't want to say it. Jay says, I need a lung, holding on to my cane till the end of my life. Super Range 128. My job recently gave me law insurance called Hyatt Legal Plans. I couldn't find Rekieta Law or Beard Harris. Sounds like a scam. I live in SoCal. Hopefully Keon is on there. Don't know his firm name. And I'm not at liberty to say because, unfortunately, Keon voiced his opinion on some Vic stuff. And shocker, I know. People threatened his job. Because they're fucking pussies. And that's what they do. That's what they do. So, there you go. Some nobody says Ron looks like a meth addict. Cargis says, Nick, I just wanted to thank you for providing me with learning and levity for nearly a year. Let's hope the following will be just as fulfilling. Hey, I always aim to fulfill. Austin Heartless says, I set myself on fire at work today. Rip my beard. No. One day, have I ever told the story of when Lady Rackets lit my face on fire? Have we discussed that on stream? If not, or if you haven't heard it, yes. There was a time in my life where half of my beard was removed by flame from Lady Rackets. So we will not tell that story tonight. I may have a guest on Friday or Saturday. Someone you guys have been asking for. So maybe that would be a good time to tell the story. But I may have a guest on Friday or Saturday that the chat has been hotly requesting. I have not gotten to talk to one of my favorite guests very often in 2019. We're 9 days into 2019. I barely talked to this guest, and I would love to have this guest on the show on Friday or Saturday, and that may be happening very soon. Very soon. One of my favorite people, one of my favorite guests as well. Okay. Rhino says, why is there a joining deadline before discovery? Speculation is that Wade was working. Well, discovery is actually going this entire time. Discovery is going this entire time. But if in the course of discovery you find a party that should be joined in the interest of justice, you can get court permission. It's just permissive joinder or whatever, or automatic joinder of parties. If you need the court, there are rules for required joinder. There are rules on how that proceeds. So you just have to put forth the evidence that they needed to be joined in the interest of justice. I said 2019, you're right, 2020. It's not Lady Rackets. I talk to her all the time. But no, you guys have figured it out. So we'll see. Speculation is that Wade was working with people in back channels. That puts Meier at a disadvantage. The question is, would Meier want to sue the people in those back channels? And that's a tough question. Just because you can sue someone doesn't always make it practical or profitable. Brian says he was like a top streamer back in Streamy days. Yeah, I'm familiar with who SPCC is. I just don't know him personally. Sorry if that was confusing. He calls up people from all around the states, milks them for the lulz. Often they say, stop calling or I'm gonna police you up, although they never end up going to the police's. Although also he's black and bi-curious. Okay. Well, there you go. TLJ Screwjob says, did Sandman, not revealing the media corruption? Not sure. Sandman did settle with CNN. He still has other people he's dealing with, but he settled with CNN. Elliot Keaton says, we should pass a law that makes cases last 3 days or they're guilty. No, that's a terrible plan. Jason of the Great Awakening says, anything that gives lawyers less blood money is a victory. They should be solely funded by super chats and GoFundMes. And they way overcharge. If you guys haven't learned that by now, they way overcharge. Goofus Maximus says, have Iago, Igor, and or Renfield been confirmed yet? Not specifically, but I think Ty mentioned something about people have guessed them. But guys, I don't think you're going to see any action against them. I really don't at this point. Unless we see some serious issues in discovery. We're coming up against statutes of limitations for anything that's already been discovered. And, you know, the whole profitability thing. This case has dragged out quite a bit. It's proved very frustrating. Adding more people to it complicates everything. So the last 300 says, dear chat, Tulsi is anti-gun. So there you go. Bad Dragonite says, was going to donate 20. Guess I got to do better. Yeah, you do. How dare you? TLJ Screwjob says, what's worse? Would have lied or I do not recall. Would have lied is worse. Daniel Ruiz, thank you for the donation. Moist John says, white women are Twitter are banned from using y'all. Daniel Ruiz says, prayer please. In-law David, he has lung cancer. Thank you. Will do, buddy. Will do. CJ, read that one. S. Cybertaz says, followed on Twitch, but as with Patreon, I will cancel if you don't show boobs. Mike M says, Nick, I'm effing tired of censorship. Me, I believe you meant I believe you meant effing tired, my friend. Yeah, I'm trying not to have every stream demonetized. And last stream was a bit spicy with the F-bomb, so I'm reeling that back in today. Big Red Bear says, remember, King just claims his mom was a whore. So he's not white, though. If he thought his father was a cuck, then it makes sense how he turned out. Jason of the Great Awakening says, Maggie Haberman's interchange with QAnon was fascinating. It involved her getting on the train and staying on. She got off the train. Some Nobody says, Joy, got my PS4 Bluetooth adapter working on PC. Hey, Good job. TLJ Screwjob says this chief should wound his knee in Minecraft. And then Jason of the Great Awakening says, LMAO, the video that exonerates the Covington kids most is the Hebrew Israelites' own 2+ hour live stream. Yeah. No kidding. Those guys record everything that they do. The Hebrew Israelites. They're one of the funniest, most horrible groups that I can imagine. They are funny. Like when they go to San Francisco on Pride parades and just stand there on the corner and yell the most hateful stuff ever at people. Like, wow, good. I guess good job on you standing up for your beliefs. Not the best strategy, maybe, for being likable, but they don't care about being liked. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. Let's get the outro music playing. We'll do this number. Woo! They're literally black-pilled, yes. Yeah, I noticed I did let loose one solid F-bomb in regards to defending my boy Keon. That's because I'm very passionate about the people that I care about. And Keon's a really good guy. And to have those absolute pathetic scumbags go after his job, they should be introduced to, the Guevara. TLJ Screwjob says that was a battle of wounded knee joke, by the way. Oh, I got it. All right, guys. A woo song? Some people want. What a woo song are you talking about? All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. It was enjoyable. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to like it. Make sure you're still subscribed. I think YouTube is mostly done cucking me on unsubbing people. They've almost gone through all the people they're going to unsub because it's slowed down a little bit. But make sure you're still subscribed after streams because it does happen. I get emails from people who watch the show. They're subscribed when they start watching the stream. By the end of the stream, they're removed by no action of theirs. So there you go. Oh, a woo song is a Medicare thing from Jim streams. Okay. They unsubbed me from Yellow Flash randomly. Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it lately. It's crazy. So, all right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. We will have a good Twitch show, so make sure you come by and hang out on Twitch if you're awake. If you're not, don't feel obligated. We'll see. Not 100% sure what we're gonna do for game tonight. All right, guys. Thanks a bunch. Catch you on Twitch. Peace.